Neal, have you enjoyed having a bit more time on the training ground this week?
It's been nice. It's been nice with the games. Been so thick and fast. So yeah, it's been nice to even plan a week's training because everything's just been, you've had some recovery and then you're worrying about training too hard before the next game. So it's been nice to actually plan a full week and sort of say, what do we want to get from the week? Let's do it. And we're nearly there.
Tell us a bit more then. Do you concentrate on every part of the game every day, or is it just certain parts on certain days?
Probably certain parts, certain days. So a Tuesday is probably your best day to really hit the physical side because you're far enough away from the Saturday just played and far enough away from the Saturday that's just come. Tuesday, Wednesday, then middle grounds. I think when you start going Monday, Thursday, you're still in fatigue or you're going to carry it over till Saturday. So Tuesday we did a double, a morning and afternoon and fitness work in there, and there was some big numbers posted by players as far as distances and sprint and speed endurance and stuff like that, which we need because before you know it you'll be Saturday, Tuesday again and you haven't got it in. So that was good. Today was very much about how we want to try and play and working on that, both playing out from the back, playing through the thirds, and certainly trying to get into the final third and be better in the final third too.
And when you tell your players you've got a double training session, do you get a bit of a groan that goes around the room? Certain got straight on the mobile phones cancelling the tee-off times?
Yeah, that would have been the staff, not the players. No, they. To be fair, we gave most of the boys that have played a high portion of the games. We gave Monday off, but they got given their GPS system, so they had a set program to do at home. And I find that sometimes work. It's a recovery. They can still do the recovery and they've got to do some work, not sit around, but it keeps them away from the place. They've travelled a lot, that kind of stuff, and the rest of the players did a good session. So they had that day off away from listening to my voice and Cox's voice, but then it was followed by a double where they worked hard.
Now you've got an FA Cup game. Are FA Cup weeks different in any way? Do they feel different?
Yeah, absolutely. In a number of different ways. One, because obviously the league, you're not looking at the league table and the points and where the team are in your league table. But secondly, it's a lot easier to know a lot more about the teams in your league. You know, so nearly all the teams that we play in our league, I know how they play, what their manager's style is, what their strengths are, their weaknesses. All of a sudden you come up against a team that you know slightly less about, and the footage is harder to come by, and so on and so forth, and you know they have challenges.
So how do you go about that then if the footage is hard? Do you try and find contacts who may have come into contact with Needham Market in the near future? How do you do it?
Well, the first thing I did as soon as the draw came out, we had someone go and watch the replay. Then once Needham beat Peterborough in the replay, we then had someone go and watch them play Cray on Saturday. So we've got them watched twice. We've got a report back with systems, with set pieces, with all that kind of stuff. But then you have to, with style of play. But then you have to. I like to watch them myself. It's all very well watching the report, but I need to see for myself exactly what they are. So we started that process last week to get the footage from Saturday's game that still hasn't come to us. So that bit's been a little bit more difficult.
If this was the other way around, I'm sure the Needham Market manager Kevin Horlock would come here saying, you know what, we've got nothing to lose, everyone's expecting us to lose. If you to flip that round, does that mean there's more pressure on your side because everyone's expecting you to win?
Oh, massively. I think being an underdog it's nice sometimes, you know, and I hope we get to experience that because we're in the third round and we're playing a Premier League team. Because you can say it's a free hit. We can go out, we can come up with a game plan, how we're going to try and win it. I think in these games, the first message I've got to get across to my players is if the opposition are more motivated for this cup tie, we're going to have a very, very tough afternoon. And that's the first message, most important one, because how often in the FA Cup do you see a group of players 2-3 levels below another team and they raise their game and they run harder and they put themselves out there and the team turn up and think it's going to be all right and all of a sudden the game's gone the other way. And that's the most important thing. The quality, all the stuff that needs to come after it, obviously, but first and foremost, if we don't turn up as motivated as them, if not more, to win this game, we're going to have a really tough afternoon.
And you're going to come up against a side, I know they got beat in the FA Trophy last week, that is used to winning and got through to the first round of the Cup last season as well, so they know about the excitement, they know how to get through these games.
Yeah, absolutely, and they know how important it is, you know, when they have a cup run with the prize money, with all sorts. So I think any team that's used to winning is going to be a tough challenge because they've got confidence, they know what it's like to win. It means they've scored goals, it means they keep clean sheets, all these kind of stuff. And I've said it before, at this precise moment, we as a team, as a group, aren't a good enough team to think that we can just, yeah, it's all right, it's a cup, we'll be fine. We've got to be at it every game because we're not good enough.
Full-time versus part-time, the sense tends to be that full-time are fitter than part-time players, but is that always the case? Because these guys, I'm sure, spend a lot of time in the gym and things like that.
Well, obviously full-time training should help that. The flip side is what I just said at the start. The opposition will find 20% extra for a game of this magnitude to them than they normally do. So they will have 20% more in their legs than they normally do, and that might make up any differences in fitness. If we turn up and we're not at it and we're not running hard and we're not pressing and doing our work without the ball like we need to, then the game's already become even.
And I don't know if you ever came up against Kevin Ardley as a player, but those people who watched him know what kind of player he was, so you imagine that's what kind of side they'll be.
Actually, the feedback I've got so far and the reports I've got on them is that they play good football and very organised, very structured, so whatever he's doing right. They'll fancy themselves. I'm absolutely adamant because I go into games when I've played against teams in the league above going, well, my game plan's good, we'll do this. And they'll fancy themselves, and we've got to play really, really well right from the word go, match their enthusiasm, and hopefully the quality can win through.
How's your side looking then? Are your squad looking?
Wish you hadn't have asked that. We've had some injuries. Some of them are a bit unfortunate. Callum Howe rolled his ankle in training on Tuesday. Bit unfortunate. He was actually doing some fitness stuff, but just rolled it. So he's going to be a doubt. We'll see how he is tomorrow. Callum Harriott walked in from training today with a tight hamstring. I don't think that is as unfortunate as rolling your ankle. I think that's down to a lot of the stuff that the club and the culture and the things that we haven't been doing in our robust training, which we've got to change because like I've said before, we've got a lot of injuries, 9, 10, 11 injuries on the injury table, and most of them have been coming around the time when we've been Saturday, Tuesday, which tells you the bodies couldn't handle it. So them two are certainly big doubts. So we might not even, I think for the first time we get an 18-man squad. We might not even be able to fill that, and that sounds ludicrous with how many players we've got.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're not going to be able to fill the bench out this weekend.
Possibly not, but listen, I'm not moaning. These are things that have got to be put right, and they can't be put right in a month. They can't be put right. Pre-season normally is the first point of starting all of this, but we're going to be doing it through the season. So hopefully we'll finish the season with a very, very strong, robust, fit team.
Have you got the results from Maz's scan this week?
He had his today. I think we sent David Stockdale for a rescan to see where he is. We're hoping that shows good news and we can start progressing him. Same with Levy. So there's a few of the duckies sort of going to be back out, hopefully starting some work on the training field soon. Obviously we'll need to get fit. So there's positives there, but they're a lot further down the line.
Left back situation. Are you any nearer? I know it's often difficult, isn't it, when you've got a cup game because no one wants to play as cup time for starters. But are you any nearer to getting that situation sorted?
No, I'm not going to lie and say we've got one lined up. No, because the one or two that we liked, one got injured or setback, coming back from an injury. The other became out of our reach, and again, no one's we couldn't get one in to be cup tied. No one would give us one. Even Aidan Marsh, they don't want Aidan Marsh to be involved. Jack Stock can't be involved, so we've got players who can't be involved. Fortunately, Will Smith can. So we've you've got them issues. So no, there's a few areas we're looking at. If I'm honest, the marketplace isn't strong at the moment. It's a very difficult time to do work because a lot of the loans have gone out that people wanted to loan out, and the market's a bit dead. I think we've got to try and manage the situation as best we can. That's not saying we won't be trying to bring in the left back still. Manage it the best way we can, and I think January will be a lot better as far as getting out and getting in and trying to reshape a bit.
Great, thank you.
So Neil, Needham Market managed by Kevin Horlock, distinguished career for Man City, capped 30 times for Northern Ireland. How does he set his teams up? What are you expecting from them?
Well, they play good football. They've played in the reports we've had. They played 4-3-3 in one game and 4-2-3-1 in another. So they try and overload. The fullbacks try and get on. They try and press. They try and play through the third. So I think a lot more teams nowadays are more modern. I think the teams that play sort of Route 1 football are a little bit less and less. So there's all the challenges there. They're going to come on a nice slick pitch and hopefully. From our point of view, hopefully we enjoy playing on that pitch, and I'm sure they will too. So there are challenges, but like I just said, for me, it's about making sure that we're matching their motivation and their enthusiasm in this one game.
Is that what it is? It's about eliminating the chance of losing, basically.
Yeah, I think if we're at it in every way and our motivation to win the game and putting a really high level of performance is high, then they're going to have to play at their best to be in the game too. But if we're not quite at it and their motivation's high and they're running harder than us and they're putting themselves about more than us, all of a sudden it's a super tough afternoon.
And the last thing you want is a replay.
Listen, absolutely, the last thing we want is a replay. I'll be getting the players and trying to get them, as I always do, up for the game and get them to perform to a high level, and then the rest is down to them and Needham to see who can perform at the highest level.
Talking about getting them up for the game, how's training been this week? At least you've had a full week.
There's lots of positives in. We worked them incredibly hard on Tuesday and got loads of fitness into them. We've done loads of tactical work today that we haven't been able to do for a while and put that into them. Some negatives where we've picked up one or two more injuries. One bit unfortunate rolling an ankle, one walked in with a hamstring. We've obviously got one or two that the parent clubs don't want to play in this game, so we're a little bit light in numbers, but there'll be no excuses. We've got to be at it.
Anyone getting a chance? Rory Watson, perhaps?
I'm looking at all sorts in training. If I'm honest, you can react to a game on a Saturday and, almost you should never try. The one saying that you always say is you should never pick your team at 5:30 on a Saturday for the next game, because everyone's emotional about what's going on. You take stock. You look at what you think you might need to do, you look at the opposition, but then you've got to see everyone in training. And if people aren't training well, they won't be getting places in teams regardless of whether we want to shake it out.
With regards to the background, the team and obviously the club is putting the building blocks in the background. How's it getting on with sourcing a sports scientist?
Yeah, so we've had some really good work, so the last, normally we have Wednesdays is kind of the day where you get a little bit of a day away from it. So last Wednesday I interviewed sports scientists all day, and this Wednesday we interviewed for data analysis to help us with our recruitment. So we're trying to be very modern and proactive in the way we work, and these are all the things that the owners and I had discussed about how we try and move the club forward. And like I said before, I don't think you'll really see the fruits of it, certainly with a data analysis to take recruitment forward. I don't think you'll see the fruits of it till the summer, because that will be his first main chance to put his stamp on things. With the sports science, obviously, they've been brilliant, the owners, as far as trying to improve little things at the training ground, the food, the quality of the canteen. With sports science coming in, we're bringing another port cabin in to turn into a gym so we can get more physical work into them. So there's all these things going on, and even then in the summer we're looking at if we can improve even further when we've got a blank canvas. So I think if you put all the work in that underpins the first team and the club, you're setting yourself. I always believe Saturday's a result of Monday to Friday, and if Monday to Friday's not right, Saturday won't be.
And keeping off the pitch, it was World Mental Health Day earlier in the week. There was also a very moving piece in Y-Front magazine by Michael Miles. We know what goes on the pitch, but we don't always know what goes on in players' heads. How do York City approach mental health?
I think, I believe, certainly from the coaching perspective, all of me and my coaches have got to be psychologists. If every time I've ever worked with a psychologist, I don't want them to go and talk to the players. I want them to educate me and my staff on the things we need to look out for, the things we need to do, the language you use, the way we talk to players. Where I'm very, very big on understanding if a player's going through something that can make him dip in form, because you can be demanding from them, push them, but if you don't know what's going on at home or you don't know what's going on in their mind, you can't do what's right by them and the person, the player, and yourself as a club. So I'm big on that, and I've always said I've had players come to see me because they've had family issues or personal issues. The first thing I've said, family comes first. If a player came to see me because he was struggling mentally, the first thing I would do is sit down with him, talk to him, and try and put something in place to help him, because I've had it with my own kids. My own kids have had tough times, and life is tough. I watched an interview recently that the Spurs manager did, which was absolutely fantastic. Everybody's always got something going on in their life that's a challenge, that's not ideal. Everyone deals with them differently. You know, I feel like I'm quite a strong person, but even I go home sometimes and go, and you have to work out how to do it. So everyone goes through it, and if we all look out for each other, we can help each other.
Well said. Thanks very much. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, sorry. So just looking back at the previous game that you guys had, it finished with a 2-2, and you guys were just talking about mental health. You're always quite supportive of all of your players, trying to get them in the right mindset. Why is that so important?
I think it's really important for a manager in a number of ways, before the game, after the game, to not ever criticise people for trying to do their best. There's loads and loads of mistakes in football. Football's one of them games where there won't be anyone that gets through a game without making a mistake, even though Coxey, my assistant manager, claims he never made one in his career. They're always going to make them, and some of them they don't mean to make. Some of them, you know, pulling out of a tackle might be within their control, but some of them, a lot of them, they don't mean to make, and you've got to be mindful of that. So both before, after games, I always try and put positivity in. I always say to the players, don't let the result affect the performance, so let's focus on doing the performance. You can't guarantee you're going to win the game of football. And after the game, if someone's made a mistake, I try not to ever throw that person. You know, we don't have a blame culture. It's we win together, we lose together. So if we conceded a late goal and we're all frustrated, my job's to stay calm and worry about that further down the line.
Yeah. And so after the Bromley's game, Andy Woodham did say that you're sort of giving a new start to York City. You're giving them so many improvements that they are improving under your leadership. What do you think after him sort of saying something about that? Do you think that he's right, or do you think there's more you can do?
So he said something nice about me, did he?
Yeah.
That's nice. That's probably because I let him have a beer in the office after. No, listen, the football managers, I think when you're a football manager, you know how tough football management is. So, you know, I would never criticise another football manager. Because I know how tough the job is, and Andy Woodman knows how tough the job is. So when he comes in and he sees the York situation, he sees the job I'm trying to do, and he's spoken to me about the job I'm trying to do. You know, if he feels, look, Neal Ardley's an experienced manager and York's only going to go in that direction, it's very nice of him to say it to me, say it about me. I say it a lot about other people. I always say what a great job they're doing on this sort of budget, on that sort of budget, because we know how tough the job is. The amount of people I know who work in football say, I don't know why you do this job, because it is that tough, and the highs are very, very, very limited, and the lows are very low. But we are what we are, so it's very nice of him to say it. I've got to go and prove him right now.
And looking forward to this Saturday game. It's supposedly meant to be a very easy game for you guys to win, but are you sort of trying to work harder to make sure that you can keep to that easy win mindset, or is there more that you think you should be doing to get the players to go further?
Yeah, no game of football is ever easy to win. I don't care what anyone says. So that's all the motivation Needham need. If anyone talks like that, we will show them utmost respect. They're at the top of their league. They're used to winning games. They've won the last round against a good team in a very good performance. Now everyone needs to be treated with respect. I think we need to be absolutely at it, and if we're at it, I'd like to think we can win the game, but that's never given in football. So yeah, easy is not a word that we'll be using, I can assure you.
That's good.